Hello, everyone. My name is Shelly Dressel, and I channel many different high vibrational beings. Tonight, I am going to channel Peyandor, who is an emissary of light that comes from the Three-Eye Atlas. I've been feeling his energies around me a little bit more acutely for about a week now, and I sense that there are so many different changes going on, and he perhaps has just some information for us, something that might help us as we move through this transition, because this is a pretty darn cool thing that is going on. So I'm going to get quiet here, and we will bring Peyandor in to speak with us. I greet you, my friends. I'm so very, very excited about this time that the Earth is moving through, because this is one of my first times to be able to experience it as an emissary of light. What is an emissary of light? I know that you consider it someone that you speak to that gives you information about a place that is different than your own. True that is a part of the definition. But as an emissary of light, I work very hard and very consistently with a group of other people as the mediators, not just for the information that people are asking about, but when it comes to the frequencies that are sent into the earth plane, we will frequently go and do energy work or assist people with being able to clear or move into a place where they can receive these downloads that are coming in. In addition to that, there have been many different blasts of energies that are coming out towards the universe. And we also will intercept those blasts of energy so that they don't do anything to the Three-Eye Atlas. Now, that being said, that is not really that much of a concern, because there are many other ships that are also rotating around the Atlas, and not only as a means of protecting, but also giving and receiving energy and giving and receiving information. But you are here at this last phase of the nefarious ones, as I believe you call them. This is the last time that they are going to be able to wreak havoc on this planet. Can you imagine? This is something that has been prevalent here since the end of the Age of Atlantis, and it has been manifested in multiple different ways. And we, as a part of the Three-Eye Atlas, not myself, but the Three-Eye Atlas also came through as a means of trying to break that down, and as a means of instilling and bringing change. I'm talking about Sumeria, and as a means of bringing in change so as to move away from that caustic, horrible, nefarious energy. And as you can tell, it didn't work. There was a period of time in which things got better, and then it went downhill again. And then you've had the Christ energy coming in. You've had Buddha. You've had multiple different beings of light that have come into the earth plane and have worked consistently with humanity as a means of creating this change. And it was never able to completely remove the negative energy from this planet or from this part of the universe, because that's what would happen. They would clear it out, and then something would reinstill it again. So this is why, and this has been going on for hundreds of years, if not maybe as much as 1,000 years, probably 1,000 years. This was in the making, this transition that is going on right now, as it was known that you had needed to have humans on the planet that understood what was going on so that they could do their part of the energy work. And as an assistance to that, how do I say this? So many of you, especially probably those that are of the age of 50 years and older, you were the ones that came in. You were the ones that were the ascended masters. You were the ones that have lived through these experiences before. And you came in and you said, I know what this is. I know what we're doing. And in fact, many of you had not even been on this planet for a very, very long time. So you downloaded what you called karmic agreements that would help to anchor you into the earth plane. Some of those had to do with very rough childhood. It might have had to do with abuse, manipulation, all of these different things that allowed you to understand what was going on with these nefarious people and what they were doing. So the next phase of people that were coming in are those that had a higher vibration. In fact, they didn't have to lower their vibration down as low as all of you did, the first wave, I'll call you, because they knew that you were going to be creating these changes and creating these shifts. So they did not need to come down as low of a degree. Many of them struggled so hard, and this would be maybe 55 to maybe 40, something like that. There's always an overlap, and some maybe even as young as 35. But my point is, you've had literally groups of people that have come in, each with your own agenda or your own intention of what you need to do, and some of it has gone very smoothly. Some of it has been way more of a challenge than was ever intended. So this is why I wanted to be able to acknowledge to you that every one of you has a purpose for being on the earth plane. Every one of you has, you are part of a much bigger event that is taking place. We all know that you can say, oh yeah, I'm part of the ascension of the earth plane, as if that's not quite big enough, but you are also a part of the ascension of this galaxy, meaning you are each directly working within the galaxy, and that in turn is a part of ascending the entire universe. So I say this not as a means of feeding anybody's ego, because I understand how I'm learning how your ego works, and that some people may think, more of themselves for that. But it is not that. This is to give you the information for why things have taken so very long, for why it has been such an incredibly hard journey for all of you, but for you to also accept and acknowledge for yourself that you did it. Because this transition that you're going through right now is the very end of those evil, nefarious individuals. And whenever I tap into that, or I try to talk about that, there's so many different ways in which people interpret that. There are those that just know that there's been a lot of negativity, but they don't really know what it's involved in, to the other end of the spectrum where people know so many details about the horrific things that were done to individuals. And so what I'm trying to say here is that I'm not 100% sure that they will ever come out and blast everything that they did to all of humanity, because some of these people that have come in the later waves, those that are the younger, they might react to it in a way that is more harmful to them than in a way that enlightens them. That doesn't mean the information isn't going to come out. It is absolutely going to come out, but they're not going to blast it out just glaring there for everyone to see. If you look at your social media, and those of you that are listening to this, I know you've been looking and looking, and you know probably every person who has posted and all of the information that has been put out there. So yes, indeed, that is the case. But after this transition is complete, and I'm talking 4 to 6 months, then it will suddenly be out there for everyone to see, and it will no longer be something that you have to go looking for. But the reason that it will not be as harsh of an impact then is because so much of humanity, they're really there. They're really close to making that shift to being in an open, conscious manner of this ascension process. However, there's still enough of the negativity. There's enough of the mind control that is still in these individuals that if you do something too harsh, it'll make them shut down and no longer move forward in that opening up process. So you are hearing about it. They are talking about it, but they're trying to talk about it in such a way that it sounds more so like the normal pattern for giving out this type of information. But again, that's temporary. This is all going to change. I'm not 100% sure why I went into that detail. I think I just felt like some people were waiting to hear that. Now then, the main reason that I wanted to come on here and talk to you is that this month you call December is going to be a month of one change after another, after another, after another. And whenever you have changes that are coming on that are kind of piggybacked on top of each other, it can make things very, very challenging for people. So I guess that's why I said it, so that you, those of you, even those of you that are the more accustomed to this, you yourself might even feel as if you are in a bit of turmoil, or which end is up, which end is down. How am I going to handle this? What am I going to do? So this is being projected in such a way because of the way the planets are lining up and because of all the different people on the 3i Atlas that are working with humanity. And this is pretty close to ripping off the Band-Aid, you could say. So what I'm asking all of you that are listening to this is that if things happen this month that make you question or make you upset or make you frustrated, then please try not to get all caught up in it. Instead, feel the emotion, acknowledge whatever it is that's going on, but come right back to that space where you are in the light of your soul, you're in the light of your love, you're in the light of your vibration and frequency. The more that people do this, the more stabilized the planet will be. And I can see this all over the entire planet. There are some countries that are going to be a little more effective with this, and there are other countries where you've got so many of your native peoples in multiple different dimensions that are there and working with you. And so for the countries that have a little bit harder time stabilizing, then your ancient ones are there. Every single every single country has people that were indigenous to this. And these are some of the individuals that are on the Atlas right now, because they're coming back to not only help those people to shift upward to the vibration that is needed now, but to give the genetic increases that need to happen to everyone. I mean, I know I said at one point that you have all of the original on the 3i, as indeed you do. However, they are not the same vibration that they were at that time, because as things change throughout your planet, the galaxy, the universe, the multiverse, everything is changing, everything is evolving, everything is moving. So you can't stay with where you were back then. So each of them have also been ascended. And therefore, the energies and the frequencies, the downloads that you are getting are the ascended version of who you were in your original energies. Okay, now, many people, and I'm finding out this is kind of a human thing. Many of you want to know, where did I come from? Where's my origin? And that is not as important as the realization that we're changing. And what is most important is you and creating the relationship with your soul that allows you to be in that flow of love and consciousness. Because whenever you are, this is allowing you to receive those downloads and integrate them in a very, very, not simplified way, but in a way that is less traumatic to you. Now then, the 3i Atlas is working directly with your sun. It has moved away from the sun. It is not as close as it was about, I think, 4 to 5 weeks ago, Earth time. But you are coming up to a full moon in just a few days. I believe it is the 4th day of this month. This is why I wanted to get this transmission out there. There are going to be some very significant downloads that are going to be given to humanity on or around that full moon. Most often you've been receiving these downloads coming into you from the sun. It's some are shooting all the way from the central sun through your sun and down into you. You've been seeing the solar flares. You've been having other ways in which you've been receiving downloads. And probably you're aware, but it seems like there's an intense amount of downloads and then everything backs up and gives you an opportunity to integrate it. And then there's another intensity and then they back up. And this cycle is what you can see with what you call your Schumann resonance. It's what you can see on anyone that is following the cycles of energy that are integrated in and around the earth. And you should anticipate some pretty significant spikes coming up in this month. Now then, since everything has been done through the sun, this which is being aligned with your moon is going to trigger and be different energy codes than what you've had before. The codes that have been downloaded into you have all been about awakening consciousness. So consciousness, what is that? That's your ability to know who you are as your soul, as your human self, and know that connection that you have to everybody else. It's awakening your divine abilities. It's about being able to look at other people and see them for who they truly are, not the facade that is frequently put forth. So this is what has been phase one, you could say. With the moon accenting these energies, it's going to be different. The sun sometimes is considered a masculine energy. The moon sometimes is considered a feminine energy. So masculine is about sending out. The moon is about receiving in. So these energies that are coming to you through the moon are not only further activating what you've been getting, but also opening up and preparing you to have even newer downloads. So what's going to happen with this? I understand that there are a lot of people that have been communicating about the nefarious ones, and things seem so bad, and there's so much lying, there's so much manipulation. Who do you believe? Who do you not believe? After the solstice and after the full moon, things like that will lessen. They won't go away completely until the time is right, but they will lessen. And here's one reason why. You are going to know what is truth and what is not. And if people are not believing the lies that they're spewing, what good does it do for them to spew lies? So this is going to be one of the impulses that that is going to come in with the full moon on December 4th. The other things that is working with is, sorry, I just downloaded something into Shelly, and she's kind of integrating it before I can speak it out again, or you know, through her consciousness. So the other things that are happening, there is a great deal of concern with people about how to finish this once and for all, how to get rid of the nefarious ones that are upon the planet. And I understand completely that that which was the worst of the worst, which was the head, which was the actual Satan and the actual cabal, those are gone. They are not a part of the earth plane, and they have not been for a little while now. However, there are people that stepped up to continue doing what they were doing, thinking that they're going to get all the power for themselves and that they're just going to step up and do that. Those individuals still need to be removed. And there's a consciousness, there's my take on it. Now, I have seen this from afar because my job was doing something else, so I don't know all the specific details. But my take on this, from what I'm looking at, is that there will be non-terrestrial, there will be people from the Galactic Federation that are working hand in hand with humanity, and they're going to be the ones to take them out. And this is what's going to happen, perhaps around the full moon or perhaps right after that. So it feels as if it's 100% in this now moment. And I understand the way that the time-space reality is on the Earth plane is very different than what I am accustomed to. But where I am picking this up from is all of these people that I have been working with and the individuals that are going to be doing that. So you may say, well, if they can do it then, why don't they do it now? It is all about the energy. It's about working in alignment with humanity. And it is about us never overstepping our boundaries or what the galactic individuals are allowed to do. So it has to be hand in hand. And it is set up, but it may be on the full moon. It may be the day after. It may be the week after. We don't know, because that is a very deeply kept secret, and nobody's going to know until it is already over with. Nobody is going to know that it is coming up, because obviously nobody wants them to try to hide. When you get rid of that and you suddenly no longer have people that are programming, or the bots, as you call them. They're no longer programming the bots. They're no longer programming the nefarious AI. They're no longer programming all of this mind control that's going on. It will all fall apart very, very quickly. So therefore, that in and of itself will also create confusion, because when you have millions of people that are on your planet that are accustomed to feeling something, they may not know what it is they're feeling, but they know that something has been coming in, and they have been about something for their whole life. So as they come in, and suddenly it's like your safety net has been removed from underneath you, and you're just floundering around. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? This is where each of you can gather together. You can, and this, of course, if you want to do it in a physical group, by all means do so. But there is already an energy shield or safety net, whatever it is that you want to call it, that is there to catch these people and support them as they begin this transition of stepping aside from all of this nefarious energy and stepping into their own power, their own strength, their own reality as their soul essence. So what each of you can do is just hold that state of love. As if you hold it in your heart, you're shining it from your heart into all of humanity, into that collective consciousness. Just be present and send that light and love into all. And what's going to happen is some of these people that might feel like they're floundering are, they might suddenly be drawn to you, or they might suddenly be drawn to different things that are being written or different things that are being said. So be open, be loving, be accepting. This is not at all the time to be proactive and go educate everybody before it happens, because that will create more resistance. This is about being open and present to receive when people come to you. Okay, what else is going to happen here? When the winter solstice comes up, or the summer, depending on where you live, there is going to be yet another significant download of energy. And that will have been a week to 10 days or so from the time in which this first moon energy has come in. And there, someone was just saying, I could hear you saying, well, should you even be saying this? Is this going to alert them? They're very well aware that this is what the intention is. We're not saying anything that isn't already out there in one level of consciousness. So once this is done, you can for yourself, if you so choose, you can also then choose to be open and preparing for whatever the next level of downloads are going to be. Understand that this is all increasing the vibration and the frequency of love on this planet. And when you live through a heart-centered space of love, you see your world differently. You see your own life differently. Much of that stress, that anger, that frustration that you have will seem to melt away. And therefore, love is the foundation for everything. And that is the foundation for the ascension. I think this is all I wish to say right now. I don't want to be too terribly long on here, but oh, that was what I wanted to say. So many of you are coming up and visiting the Atlas. Are you conscious of doing that? Some of you are doing it in your dream state. Some of you are doing it during meditations, and others of you are very consciously feeling the energy and saying, oh yeah, here I am. Oh yeah, I know what this is. So this is very, very important for each one of you. Everybody is welcome, as long as your vibration and frequency is of a particular level. When you get to the Atlas, then you are welcome to go inside and visit with those that are there. Anyone that's listening to this in advance, most likely you already have a high enough frequency that you can get in, that you can talk to them, that you can have that experience. But beloved, there is so much love here for you. There's so much honor and respect for all that you have done. We are ever with you on Saluia. Okay, this is Shelly again. Thank you so much for listening. CrystallineTransformations.com is my website, and there will be more channelings coming your way. Thank you. Bye-bye.